The number one question people ask us when they find out that it's protein couscous is like, how do you add protein in there? And it's all natural. Like we just use 3 ingredients, chickpeas, lentils, and peas, and we're not infusing it with anything. There's no xanthan gum, there's no filler. So like the product speaks for itself. And so it felt great to like get that recognition regardless of like how it was featured.
Hey everybody, this is Caitlin Brooker, Managing Editor at Startup CPG. We are back with another founder feature. Today I'm sitting down with Bar Bruhis, founder of Boostcous, the world's first better-for-you couscous with 18 grams of protein and 11 grams of fiber. Bar was born in Israel, grew up eating couscous, and spent 2 years formulating a version that actually tastes good and has benefits. And he's doing it using just 3 simple ingredients: chickpeas, lentils, and peas with 0 fillers or xanthan gum. He comes from a DTC and SaaS background and launched direct-to-consumer to prove product market fit first, hitting 10,000 Shopify orders in 6 months. We're diving into his immigrant mentality and why he built such a strong network early, his genius post-purchase survey question that got him a call with a Costco buyer, why he's now in Lieber's Locavores and pitching Whole Foods and Walmart, and what he's learned from his first trade show at Summer Fancy Food. We hear from founders on this podcast every week. If you're a brand and want to get new opportunities right in your inbox, text CPG to 833-605-7002. That's 833-605-7002, and we'll get you hooked up. As always, enjoy. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Startup CPG podcast. This is Caitlin, and today I'm here with Bar Bruhis, founder of Boostcous. Bar, welcome to the show.
Yeah, stoked to be here. Thanks for having me, Caitlin.
I am psyched to have you here. You and I both know protein is everywhere. It's on everybody's minds. It's on everybody's plates, hopefully. But you are doing something different than I've seen anybody doing in this space, which is a pretty unique accomplishment. So before we go any deeper, can you tell us what Boostcous is?
Yeah, so Boostcous is the world's first better-for-you couscous, and it has 18 grams of protein, 11 grams of fiber per serving. And yeah, we're really excited to share a little bit more.
It's so interesting hearing you say the world's first better-for-you couscous, because you would think a couscous is already better for you since it is essentially a single ingredient product. But what you have done, I just had leftovers for lunch. It's great as leftovers, and I had it for dinner. What you have done has been something, like I said, it's unlike anything I've seen before in this space. I just got to know more. So my first question for you is, why couscous?
Yeah, I think I like just back to the world's first too. Like I feel like I saw a Slack message from you or something at one point where like everyone says it's, or LinkedIn. Yeah, it was like everyone says world's first, but we're like actually the first like better for you couscous. So like I sometimes am hesitant to say that just because I feel like it's overdone. But yeah, I appreciate you trying the product, and that's awesome. You had some for dinner and leftovers. Yeah, so I was born in Israel. That's where the name Bar comes from, and lived there until I was 8 and grew up eating couscous. I've always loved like how quick and easy it is to make. Like just even a regular couscous, it cooks in 5 minutes. You know, it's really versatile. You can eat it hot or cold, like either in a salad, cold or like hot. Like I use it as a rice replacement. Like, you know, put it, your stir fry on top of it. It just kind of soaks up that like entire dish's flavor. And I just kind of like always loved everything about it. And as I got older, I like kept coming back to it as kind of like a recovery meal. I live out in Colorado and do a ton of like mountain biking and skiing and, you know, all these activities that like kind of require you to have like good nutrition after. And then I just kind of realized that there wasn't like a better for you option out there. Like I'd go to the couscous aisle and see literally like no one has like done anything in that aisle. While at the same time, like one all over in the pasta, it's like some incredible businesses, right? Like Bonza, Goodles, Brammy, so many incredible businesses have made like a better for you pasta. The idea of like, hey, can we do something that's better for you on the couscous aisle? And it took 2 years to formulate it. And yeah, we launched 6 months ago and here we are.
Okay, you launched 6 months ago, but what did this process look like for you from inception, from the concept that you had for Boostcous today?
One of the most common questions we get asked is like, what is couscous a grain? And it's actually not a grain. It's just semolina flour and water, right? So it's essentially pasta. So the way we started was, hey, can we like infuse protein into this like pasta. Maybe we started with pea protein, we started with pumpkin seed protein, and we're just doing like experiments in the kitchen. And like there's probably like 100+ batches that we tried, and every single one I'd get so stoked on, and I try it and it didn't taste good or hurt my stomach, and like I'd like trick myself into thinking that it was like okay, and then I'd like let my girlfriend or a friend try it and they'd be like, no, this sucks.
True
and
friends.
So then yeah, true friends. Yeah. And essentially like, okay, is anyone else doing this? We found that like actually in Italy, there is like a small manufacturer that's doing protein couscous. And like right away, I was like, okay, someone else is actually doing this. This is like proof. And like, can we get some samples? We got samples, talked to them, and we were actually on track to like white label their product and private label it. And then Trump tariffs hit last year. And then like that entire like model just didn't work. We would have had to charge like $10 per box. I was like, no one's going to buy that. And so then we went back to essentially like, can we use a co-man in the US and do this? And we eventually found a co-man that was willing to work with us and was it willing to like kind of work on a minimum order quantity with us, and just kind of like sent it and said, okay, like me and my co-founder each put in a little bit of money, and we said, okay, like if we lose this money, like we're okay with it. It's like essentially like burning this money. But if like this is the only amount of money we're willing to put in, we're going to like see if there's product market fit. So yeah, that's kind of how we got to like having a product.
In your process now, you've just recently come from D2C to trying to get on store shelves. Am I correct in saying that?
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, we launched, technically it was like the end of November, but I just say December because it was like pretty much the end of November, like after Thanksgiving kind of thing. So we launched in December, it's about 6.5 months ago. So my background's also in direct to consumer, mostly on the software side of things. And I knew right away that like I wanted to start in direct to consumer, one, to prove like if there's product market fit, like can we acquire customers profitably there? And two, to learn from the customer, right? Like retail is amazing. And at the end of the day, this product, like it's insane. Like we just crossed 10,000 orders on our Shopify store. It's no way should that be possible, right? Like I personally like don't think that I would buy 6 boxes of couscous online, but like obviously 10,000 people have done that. So like that's product market fit. Yeah, you did as well. Yeah, thanks for the support. But like at the end of the day, like couscous is like a retail pantry staple. Like you find a recipe, you go buy a box, put in your pantry, maybe you buy 2 boxes. So the problem with retail, like for me early on, is like you're not connected to that consumer. So you don't get that feedback, right? Like who is your customer? What do they like? What do they not like? What like direction do they want to see you in? What do they resonate with? And so, yeah, I knew I wanted to start in direct to consumer so that we could like very quickly learn from our consumer, iterate really quickly. And in that way, once we're on shelf, we like already know what's working and, have good confidence there would be velocity there too.
I have so many things I want to touch on with you. First, I just want to ask, you have this background in DTC, which I would love to talk about and love to touch on. But before we do that, can you just tell us what it looked like to start from the absolute bottom floor with this brand? What did you put in place to help set yourself up to success from platforms to advertising to where you are today?
Yeah. So yeah, in terms of like e-commerce, like I personally think that you have to be on Shopify. There's other platforms out there, but like Shopify just makes it so easy and they're like affordable for brand new brands. And then in terms of like customer acquisition, like if you're just getting started, like you got to just focus on Meta. We've played around with others like Google and there's, Snap, whatever. There's like a million other things, but like if you are going from 0 to 1, like you got to like your audience, your future customer lives either on Facebook or Instagram. And so that's how we got started. The cool thing about Meta in recent years is that like you can literally spy on anyone. Like you can just go to the Facebook ads library and you can just like go look at whatever brand you want to look at and you can see what ads they're running. And to start, like I just started with static ads, right? Static is essentially just going to be like an image. And I just looked to see like, hey, what are these brands that I like respect and look up to? What static ads are they using? And I just like recreated them that similar format for Boostcous, right? Like stealing anything from them, just like Like, obviously, these are brands that spend millions of dollars a month. And like, if they figured it out, like, it's going to work for us too. And so, yeah, started with static ads and then moved into like more video ads. And like, our top performing ad is something that like I shot and edited and, so on and so forth. But yeah, those like Shopify Meta, we use Klaviyo for email and we use Aaliyah for a pop-up. Like, to get started, I think you should just start with like minimum cost. Like, I'm a firm believer that like, you can use Canva to like, even now with AI, like you can use ChatGPT image generator, Gemini's image generator, and like feed it an input, feed it your product, get an output of an ad, upload it to Meta. But like, you should not be spending a lot of money up front. Like, you should be, grinding and trying to do it as frugally as possible. So those are kind of the platforms that I used.
And did you have a pre-sale or pre-orders before you actually went live, or did you just full send launch your product into the world D2C?
Yeah. So, I think when we first were launching, I had this grand plan of like, I'm going to reach out to all these creators and like do this like big launch strategy. And then eventually I was like, whatever, like there's thousands of CPG brands out there. In order for us to stand, like, if this product is good enough, like it will stand out. And so, yeah, we didn't do a pre-sale or anything. I was working on the idea for like, call it a year and a half to 2 years. And boostcous.com, I bought that domain right away because that name is like also a big part of the brand. And for, a year and a half or 2 years, like while we were working on the ideation, it was just a splash like landing page of like, here's what we want to build. If you're interested, give me your email. And like, I would just like casually be talking to someone. It's like, oh, what do you do? And I'm like, I do this, but I'm actually passionate about this. And they're like, oh, what's it called? And they're like, oh, boostcous.com. Like, put your email in. And like, when we launch, I'll email it to you. So I think we got like 500 or 600 emails through that. And then, yeah, once we launched, we kind of like, Andrea from Snackshot like tweeted it, and that got like 100,000 impressions. And a New York Times reporter like, posted about it, and none of that was planned, but we got like some virality around it. But none of that is scalable or repeatable, but it's like nice to have that like first sales bump, and then yeah, we just kept growing from there.
It is really exciting to see that organic discovery, like with Snackshot and Andrea, and in other places too, because it doesn't feel like it's planted. It doesn't feel like a force, like it's something that you're forced to discover. It feels like something that you are meant to discover. Like somebody's found this, they think it's so cool, they're sharing it, they're organically talking about it. What did that feel like to you to get that recognition and be like, oh my God, I'm featured, look at this?
Yeah, it's kind of funny. Like, and I've been following Andrea for so long, like, all those Nate Rosen, like all those like food, like CPG, like shout out to all of them. They're like incredible. Subscribe to their newsletter and they post like such great content. The funny thing is that like when Andrea posted it, it was kind of like not like a whack, but it was more of protein thing is overdone. Like, I think everyone sees that, right? Like, I think in general, like the protein trend, like anytime there is a trend, there's going to be like too much of something, right? And like, I'm not saying that. I've just seen like some products where it's like, oh, like does protein really need to be in that, And so like that
like
was kind of like how we got yeah, like anyway, so like Andrea posted it kind of as like, oh, and now we have protein couscous kind of thing, and like a lot of the comments were kind of around that as well. But it was a good lesson of like any eyeball is a good eyeball and any press is good press. And like at the end of the day, we do like our product. The number one question people ask us when they find out that it's protein couscous is like, how do you add protein in there? And it's all natural. Like, we just use 3 ingredients: chickpeas, lentils, and peas. And we're not infusing it with anything. There's no xanthan gum. There's no filler. So like the product speaks for itself. And so it felt great to like get that recognition regardless of like how it was featured.
It's like, oh, they're putting protein in couscous, but now it's like, oh, they're putting protein in couscous, and now I want that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so yeah, it was great. And shout out to Andrea. She's amazing.
Yeah, it's cool to see creators like Andrea, Nate from Express Checkout, Kelly Bennett. We have Tyler from BIPOC CPG. I mean, the list is endless. And the really fun thing about being in this community is that these people are scouting products, and this is like a fun thing for them to do. I am one of those people. I love discovering new products and be like, damn, have you seen this? Like, look at the branding. And then when you get to see how it actually tastes and experience the product, it's like, oh my God. But I feel like part of the charm behind Boostcous is like you have this very confident personality about you. You and I have only met, I think, twice in person now, and we're talking as if we've known each other for years. And I think that that carries on into your products too. Like it's a single SKU and it is a confident product. You're like, hey, look at me. I'm good at what I do. And I need to know more. Like, let's peel back the layers. You mentioned that you have this background in D2C. I think it's going to be really enlightening for the audience to know more about you and why you have become so good at what you're doing and why Boostcous has taken off like it has.
Yeah, yeah, and I think all growth is relative, right? Like I think we're happy with our growth, but it's like there's companies that are growing even faster than us and there's companies that grow like slower than us. We're happy where we are. I think for me, yeah, like background is definitely like a piece of the equation. I've always been entrepreneurial. I was born in Israel, moved to Buffalo, like came from like nothing. My dad, like actually when we moved, like didn't have enough money to buy a house and couldn't get a mortgage because we're like immigrants without like a checking account, and like was lucky enough to get the more like his first job that he got in Buffalo. Like the person that hired him, like essentially like loaned him the money and took it out of his paycheck. So like I come from this like immigrant mentality and immigrant mindset. I think that, like work hard, have good ethics, like create a good product and like don't like try to cheat your way around it and just be a good human and good soul and like treat everyone with kindness no matter who they are or like what their beliefs are. And so I think that's like a core part of it. And then, yeah, in college, I started a company that failed. And then like I ended up being like one of the first hires at the first email capture tool for Shopify in 2015. And back then Shopify was like super small, no one was really using it and just kind of kept building in that space. And like, I think really early on in my career, I always knew that like your network is your net worth. And like one of my first mentors was the guy that hired me in Austin. His name's Noah Kagan. And he's like, popular like creator and all that. And like, I just always saw like how he had such an incredible network. And yeah, I just wanted to keep building that. And so throughout my entire career, I always like wanted to connect with the like people that were doing it and like crushing it. And yeah, most recently I left No in March, but I kind of helped get off the ground this company called No Commerce, which is the premier post-purchase survey tool for e-commerce brands. And essentially what that means is just like a survey tool where you can ask like, how'd you hear about us? Like things like that. And we use it very heavily. I can share some like use cases. But yeah, through that, I was able to connect with like, the entire Groons team, which they just exited for 1.2 billion, like the IQ Bar team, like Oats Overnight, like Everyday Dose, like all of these incredible, incredible brands. And then I actually like started an event out of that, like kind of like full circle moment. I like was like, okay, I have these connections. I really much value human connection, especially in like this age of AI. Like I obviously use it, but like I think you can't supplement human connection. And then I live just outside of Aspen in this town called Carbondale. I love skiing. And so I actually ended up starting this event business called D2C.com. We like got these sponsors and flew out like the biggest brands in the world to Aspen. I was able to connect with them. And like this past year, like these, in that world of like SaaS, there's just so much money. And one of the sponsors like let us use their private jet to fly out people from New York to Aspen. And so like through that, I was like able to just connect with like literally the brightest minds in CPG. And yeah, all those people are now advisors to me. Like, when I have a question, I can just like text them. And so I think that's, this isn't like like I have a co-founder too, who's amazing. He's one of my best friends. But like, yeah, all this kind of like leads into the success that we have today is again, like, yeah, I think your network is your net worth.
I think that's really good advice because you just never know where you're going to end up in life, and being able to fall back on that network that you've built. And then even just like you're saying, if you need to shoot somebody a text and say, hey, I'm stuck on this, or I could really use some help with this, then you have these people who are ready to catch you when you're going to fall, I guess you could say.
100%. Yeah, it's so helpful. Like even like this past week, I shot a cold email to Costco and they responded, and like I can share like what that email is because other people should steal this strategy too. But like
Yes,
I
please tell
asked,
us.
yeah, so I genuinely believe that every brand should start on direct to consumer because if you can, if you're perishable, obviously you can't do that. But if you can start on direct to consumer, you can learn so much about your customers, and you should run a post purchase survey. And the one question you should ask is, what retail stores would you like to see like your brand Boostcous in? And I now have like 45% of our customers answer that post purchase survey, which is like always surprising to people. And now I have a list of our top 10 retailers, and I literally just, Costco's number one. Like, I don't need to make that up. Like, our consumer wants to see us in Costco. And I just screenshotted that and said, hey, our customer, like, we had 2,000 people say that they want to see us in Costco. What can we do about that? And I got like on a call with a buyer like 3 days later. And now it sounds like we might, like, it's obviously still very early stages, but we're trying to do some sort of like roadshow with them. Yeah, we'll see.
It's just that easy.
Yeah, just take a screenshot, send an email.
Amazing. Can you just repeat the question that you would hope that all these brands are asking in their post-consumer survey?
Yeah, I think you can word it like different ways. I think the way I have it worded is, retail stores, would you like to see your brand, ours is Boostcous, in? And I think what I have is I have a list of like 15 stores and then an option for other as well. So like we get like some super small like co-op or mom and pop, like one store retailer that like someone in Oklahoma wants us to be in. And it's great. Like now I reach out to that person too, but it is incredible deal flow for like the retail side of things.
It's such a smart question to ask, and it immediately gives your brand legs. And then you can go back to those customers and say, hey, we're making it happen. You can find us in real life. Here you go.
Exactly. Yeah. Close the loop. That's the most important part.
So as a brand that's been mostly D2C, you now have been making some IRL appearances. I've seen you twice now. First time was at Lieber's Locavore at our Denver grocery run. It's the first time we ever did an event like that. It was a public event versus a private event. So you and I think 20 other brands were sampling on the floor. And you, just like many of the other brands there, majority of the brands were not yet in retail doors. You are not yet in Lieber. So this was a first instance for Liebers to try your product, and also a first instance for all of these customers who are already Liebers customers to try your products. And you have some pretty cool news to share about that experience too. So tell us what your experience was like at that event and then the outcome of it too.
So yeah, shout out Startup CPG. Like all the events you guys do are incredible and either free or super cheap for brands. And like, if you're listening, you should get involved ASAP, especially as an early brand. But yeah, the experience was incredible. That was the first time we ever sampled Boostcous to like the open public, just because we've always been direct to consumer. We'd never like actually made product and like given it out. So it was, on the Boostcous side, a really good learning to like, how do we sample this thing? And we've since Lieber's made some adjustments. And then, yeah, it was incredible to get the feedback from customers. I think the best part was that we actually had a lot of people that like already knew us and had seen ads for us and like wanted to like try the product, but like, and so we like converted customers right there and then, which was great. And then, yeah, obviously like connecting with the Lieber's team was great. And now we're actually in Lieber's. We're on shelf there. So if you're in Denver, go buy some. And that experience is actually kind of funny because I'd emailed Ray, who's the buyer, and he like sent us all these forms. And then like I didn't even fill out the forms and they bought it through Fair. And it turns out that they just onboarded onto Fair and are like buying through there, which is incredible. So also shout out Fair. If you're a small brand, or any brand should be on there. They're incredible.
Very cool. And congratulations. That was huge. That was like a very competitive event for a lot of the brands that were participating, because I think they only took in 5 or 6 brands from the start. They may have been onboarding more brands and maybe onboarding more brands as we speak, but to see your name in the first round was pretty cool.
Thank you. Yeah, I appreciate that. And I went to Denver a couple months ago and like dropped off a box and got Ray's contact and then emailed him. So he like had already kind of known about us, which was also helpful. So
Perfect.
yeah, but we're stoked to be there.
And then, of course, I just saw you at Summer Fancy Food, which is, I would assume, Boostcous' first major trade show. Am I right in saying that?
Yeah, you're
And
right.
how
Yeah.
did it go for you?
Yeah, that was also great. We were not in the startup CPG section this year, maybe next year, but we got into the startup pavilion through Fancy Food and they were incredible. Like they put us in like the fourth floor, kind of like right in the entrance, and like it was a really like high foot trafficked area. And yeah, out of that now we're talking to Whole Foods and Walmart and like Fresh Market. And honestly, I need to look through my email because I have all these follow-ups. But yeah, it's incredible. The biggest lesson is that like, especially these big retailers, there's literally like one, maybe two humans that sit inside those retailers that can change the trajectory of your entire business, right? Like this one person that gets pitched thousands of brands, like makes a decision on whether or not you'll be on shelf. And so it's really hard to make that connection with that human unless you're in the room with that person. And so I think that's the value of trade shows. Obviously, like if you can make connections with that person, other ways you can do that. But like for us, that was kind of the biggest takeaway was, yeah. And then the other piece of that is like other CPG brands are just like so awesome and so nice. And it's like we made so many friends in the industry and it's like we're all going through this together. It's like not easy. So good to like kind of to make those friends that way.
And there's your network expanding right before your eyes.
There you go. Yeah, full circle.
All right,
Yeah.
so we're coming up on time, but I am super curious to hear from you as a brand that's finally dipping your toes into the retail pond. What retailers are you looking to target? What type of retailers? And if there are any dream retailers on your radar that you want to say hello to right now that might be listening, tell us what you're looking for in a retailer and why a retailer should consider Boostcous for their shelves.
Yeah, I'm like looking at my whiteboard over there because I have like my end of year goals and it's Costco or Whole Foods by end of year is one of my goals. And I think Target, like I wrote that like a while ago, but I think Target would be added into that list as well. Yeah, I think there's a couple of reasons, like especially the Whole Foods buyer. It's, what we've seen is like we've got kind of like two or three major demographics. One is going to be that gluten-free market. We're the only gluten-free and world's first gluten-free couscous. And we see so many gluten-free individuals that like haven't been able to eat couscous in so long that are finally able to eat it again. And like, if you look through our reviews, that's like one of our top demographics. The other one is like moms with kids, like feeding it to their kids and feeding it for themselves. It's like, yeah, there you go. Yeah, it's like no choking hazard. It's like, this might be a TMI, but like I was at a bar the other day with one of my friends that has like a toddler, and she's like, your Boostcous is literally what's keeping my toddler regular. Like I feed it to them and they like it, and it's like they shit right away. I don't know if you have
Nothing
to
is
beat that
TMI
out.
with moms or me,
Yeah,
just in
there we go.
general.
Perfect. So anyway, yeah, I think that Whole Foods demographic is kind of like right up our alley. We've seen, especially again with our post-purchase surveys, we drive incremental sales into that couscous aisle because people are switching from other protein alternatives into couscous and like coming into the couscous aisle. And we're the only and like first innovation in that aisle. So like when we sit next to whatever couscous is in there, like people just end up buying from us. So that's kind of the reasoning for like Whole Foods and Target. Like I think Target is very much trying to be the new Whole Foods. And then, yeah, the Costco buyer, it's like, yeah, I mean, this is, like you said, it's an incredible rice replacement and the kind of like meal prep. It heats up really well the next day. So that kind of be like our pitch for all three of them. And I think like at the end of the day, it comes back to like, we can show numbers that like all these people are buying from us and they shouldn't be online. And so we're really excited to flip that model and have more of our customers buying in retail.
This is definitely going to be an exciting discovery for retailers who haven't learned about you yet. So hopefully, if they haven't yet, by the time they have ears and eyes on this episode, they will be so excited to carry you. That's my hope coming out of this.
And we can do another episode when that happens.
All right, brain check for that.
Yeah.
Keep me updated.
I love it.
Bar, it's been so fun talking to you. We are fans in our household. You have quickly become a staple. I'm pretty sure we have eaten Boostcous 3 nights already this week, and it's only Tuesday. So if that says anything, there you go.
I love it. Well, thanks so much for the support. We really appreciate it. And yeah, this was such a fun conversation. Thanks, Caitlin.
Thank you. I'll catch you soon. CPG BFFs, we've now arrived together at the end of another episode of the Startup CPG podcast. As you may know, we're not just the top globally ranked CPG podcast. We're a community of tens of thousands of CPG founders and experts, and you should join us if you haven't already. Head to startupcpg.com to sign up. You'll get an invite to our Slack community, hear about events near you, and get access to opportunities that connect you with buyers, investors, and other brands. It's free, so what are you waiting for? I'll see you in Slack and in real life. Thanks for listening.